Hello, we're back again. 7 o'clock Friday. Here we are on YouTube and Facebook. It is the long run from FORDY Runs and Running Community. Hello, everybody. Lovely to see you all.
Evening, all.
Everybody has had a wonderful week. Well, 2 weeks really, because we weren't actually live last week because it was Jingle Job. But we hope that you've managed to catch up at some juncture over the last 7 days, because there were some cracking tips in there about the sort of stuff that you could buy people for Christmas, or you could ask people for Christmas and get it on your list. So if you haven't listened to it yet, get back on the go back through the podcast on Spotify or wherever you get them and pick that up. Lovely to be talking with you again anyway, live this week.
We are live.
The boys are all back. It's the 10th of December. It's officially Christmas jumper day in aid of Save the Children, and 3 of us thought we'd make the effort and put our Christmas jumpers on.
No,
there is a glaring omission.
No.
Even though 4 o'clock this afternoon, while we're all beavering away during our doing our usual thing and doing our work on a busy Friday afternoon, we were interrupted. Don't forget, it's Christmas jumper day today. And who's the only clown who hasn't turned up in his Christmas jumper?
Hang on a minute. You boys. So just give an evening, everybody, and welcome. Lovely to have you live. Get your comments in Facebook. Do the stuff that Tobe says about adding your thing. Hello, everybody on YouTube. Tell everybody about it that you're watching it live. Thank you very much. But more importantly, these boys have been hammering me for about 10 minutes before we went live, claiming that there was some direction about wearing a jumper and saying there was some message. Al, what did the message actually say? Just to clarify, because I'm not getting out to dry here.
I've got it here. It says, don't forget, today is Christmas jumper day. Please make sure you're wearing a Christmas jumper on the post.
It never said. It's such a liar. It never said anything, right? So listeners and viewers, it never said anywhere about make sure you wear one.
There was no Christmas jumper party.
But what I would say in my defense, right, I've got to put this out there, and I want a little bit of sympathy from somebody, is I had my COVID booster this morning. My arm, I feel like I've been punched badly in my arm, and I would say I'm firing on about 70% of my cylinders, if that makes any sense. So we are pre-recording another show after this. I'll just pre-warn you, that's going to be terrible, because I would have run out of energy. And it's going to be useless. So the New Year's Eve one, I'll give you a clue now. Don't bother listening to it.
Don't raise your expectations. That's what
I know you probably, hopefully the viewers now realise, and the listeners, they come onto the show and they listen with zero expectation of having any form of running content or anything like value added. But the New Year's Eve show,
the New Year's Eve one, mate, maybe by the time they get around to listening to it, they'd have had a few.
Yeah.
So consequently, it wouldn't be so bad. They'd be able to look through all those little problems and little issues that we might have owing to sort of uninspired content and perhaps ropey production skills and things like that. But
Johnny Townmouse, 40, can you put his Vida coat on? He said it looks as ridiculous as a Christmas jumper. I love that coat, Johnny. Absolutely love it. I've even been, Alan will like this. And well, firstly, Alan loves it because it's like got vegan products in it. And that is early that I got that in. And secondly, I look apparently like Arsene Wenger in it, which I find is a massive insult, being from the right side of London. But apparently I look like Arsene Wenger in it. So, Johnny, there you go. I'm not going to put it on because Mrs. Fordy's got the heating up like it's 150 degrees in this house at the moment, because she also had a COVID booster today and we're freezing cold. So, if I slip
how long are you waiting, mate? Just a bit of COVID booster chat, because I had mine yesterday and I was in Harlow for 3 hours.
I walked
walking, more queuing up, but had to be done, so it wasn't too bad. But
it was all right. Yeah, it was all right. I went down to Cheshunt and lovely people, NHS obviously people, and volunteers and stuff like that. She was blinding the old nurse and that. So obviously got a plug in for the Long Run podcast where I could. And if you've seen it on Instagram, I'm even wearing my Long Run podcast hat. So a little bit of hashtag marketing.
Didn't you? It'd be interesting to see. Obviously, we're there's been a few tighter restrictions with the new variant sort of getting a grip on everything. And I think probably notable is that for big events, big outside events, going to football and things like that, people are going to be looking for COVID passes and stuff. Do you think that might become a bit of an issue in the next few months for going to races and things?
Yeah, well, I think could be going that way. God knows what's going to happen, right? But it's funny, I sent an email to the National Running Show today because we got a stand there, and I was asking the question, what's the story with the show? Because who knows what's going to happen? I'm not scaremongering or anything like that, but how does that leave us in terms of what's going on? Because that show has 20,000 people indoors. I mean, I don't know, but yeah, I think in terms of races, we could get to that point where you've got to show a COVID malarkey, to maybe do it. I don't know. It'd be,
the fact things are outside, I mean, it was just sort of like a rhetorical question, really. I think the fact that events are outside and it's been proved, there's been scientific evidence that the risk is vastly depreciates when you're in an outside environment. Because obviously, when they first came along, 18 months ago, we didn't know as much as we do now, or the experts didn't. I know as much as I do now, really, because I have very little. So I got sort of like modern, scraped to see in the general science, when I was at school. So I'm no sort of like expert on this sort of thing. But I just think
it is a funny old one. Let's see what happens. I don't know. We can't get depressed about it. We just got to carry on and see what happens. I think as always. And I mean, aren't London Marathon event people brilliant? They moved it to October, almost like they knew that there was going to be a problem. Geniuses, they are friends of the show. Give big shout out to them. And talking of shout outs, and I'm not going to name the companies because we're not getting paid, but we've had some after obviously Manscaped, who this is not sponsored by Manscaped this week. We're back to being sponsored by the Amazing Fish and Chip Shop this week because Tobe's been in there all week.
Great chicken burgers.
Yeah, we had emails about some socks. Any boys interested in marketing some socks? We've got some an email about some socks this week. We've got email, and I'm all over this. Cryptocurrency. If anybody knows anything about cryptocurrency, please email. What's the email address, Wilco?
longrunshow@gmail.com.
No delay on that. So
well, no, because I was there for a fortnight.
Spyware, and malware protection or something or other. We've got some emails because apparently we're a great suit for them. And there was some other
crooked.
there was some other stuff, but it was we've more of the usual. But we will not bow to the corporate sponsorship world. We will not give in to this. We will not step into a studio and record these podcasts. We're going to carry on keeping it real. And keeping it real, boys, I've got some very exciting news for you. Who wants it? Oh, actually, there's two bits of
exciting news, mate.
Firstly, we've got a new outro, which took me all of 3 minutes to do earlier. And I've gone all out. But here we go. You standing by. Sit down, maybe. We are now massive in Africa. We've had 9 downloads. We have had 7 downloads in South America. We have finally taken over every continent in the world. So give yourselves a pat. No, I can't do it. Pat on the back, boys. We are now truly global. There is no continent that we have not touched. And I'm just looking through the countries. It appears we've even got a listener in Taiwan, Puerto Rico, Chile, and Zambia. Oh, and big shout out to whoever's listening in Iran. Big shout out.
Fair play.
We are massive.
You've got to go for a few loopholes in Iran, I'd imagine, to clog on to 40 runs at 7 o'clock on a Friday night. So
we are massive. We've gone truly global. So there we go, boys. We've completed the world domination. We're one of the biggest running podcasts in the UK, and we are now global. So
there's I don't know how many more. Where else could we conquer? I
don't know. The moon. Maybe we could get what's his name, Musk, to take us up in one of those.
We could go intergalactic.
Intergalactic, yeah, that would be.
The world's first intergalactic running podcast.
Yeah, I was just about to talk because, Al, is that a shirt or a jumper?
It is a shirt because look, you remember my
No.
remember my
Oh,
summer
let's
one?
take it off now.
I had my
It's
Hawaiian
not that kind of
shirt.
show out.
I've gone Christmassy for the
Is that from a charity shop, that one as well?
No, I actually paid full price for this.
Oh, a bit strong, isn't it? No, looks good. And he's had his barnet done. Tobe's looking smart as well. Aren't you, Tobe?
Well, no, I like to put the effort in, like every week.
Like every week. Is there
the reason we were not live last week was you boys. You were getting in the Christmas spirit and going around London and doing the jingle jog. So 3 of them. How did that go?
Well, two of us got in the Christmas spirit. We had
the Grinch there didn't. He was Wilco. He was so miserable. Can somebody just back us up on this? Anybody watching or listening, or email in to whatever the email is, something show at something, because Tobe was on typical Grinch form. We asked him to put a hat on, and he genuinely point blank refused to wear a Christmas hat. That's how miserable he is.
I didn't want to ruin my hair.
He's full of it. Honestly.
It's got to go deeper than that, Tobe. It's got to be some sort of blatant hatred of the festive period, surely.
Oh, he was so miserable.
Well, that comes alongside it.
So miserable.
Too early.
Now, it's only a week away, and then we're going to be going to, a lot of us are going to be going to the Olympic Park, and we're having a big Christmas run. And lots of people are going to get dressed up, Tobe. Now, are you going to make the effort? Are you coming?
I haven't got anything.
Yeah, no, he is coming because he's got to get us there. But me and Si, because he's taking Si and I in his new motor, and Si and I've got a plan because we're unsure of the range on it. Because for anybody new, he's got this new electric toaster car thing. Basically, what Si and I are going to do while he's concentrating on getting us there, we're going to turn on everything, right, and see how much we can drain. So we're going to put heated seats. We're going to put literally everything on. I mean, it's counterproductive.
You won't be able to put the reversing camera on, though, will you? Because you ain't got one.
Yeah, Tobin, and would I be able to move the passenger seat, using the electric? Oh, he hasn't got one of them either, is it?
You don't need it.
What? He got proper stitched up.
This is nice, Tobe, isn't it? You know, he's getting a lift, and he
doesn't know that I'm going straight from central London.
What?
You have to meet me in central London first.
Why?
I'm working that Friday night.
No, mate, I've already organised it with Si that you're taking us. So speak up taxis.
What?
Who's it?
So Tobe, have you not sorted out your fancy dress then?
No.
Well, that is probably the opportunity for the listeners to perhaps viewers to perhaps give us some suggestions.
Email him
of last minute fancy dress that Tobe can wear when we go to the Olympic Park next Saturday morning.
Email him, please.
Donate your items.
Yeah, or alternatively, if you come into the event, bring something with you.
Yeah.
Perhaps something that you made.
Yeah.
It's a bit like when the kids say, "Oh, I've got to go as it's Roman Day tomorrow. I've got to go and do fancy dress at school." It's a bit like that. So what we need is Toby is in the doo-doo because he hasn't organised his fancy dress for next Saturday. So please feel free to bring something along that you might be able to wear. And if you've got loads of stuff, you might be able to wear all of it.
Yeah, please. I'm coming as Santa. Al, what are you coming as?
Well, I've got to find something to match my shirt. So I might grow the beard out a little bit.
You're wearing that shirt?
Through the hair.
You're going out in that shirt?
Yeah, straight out into London, straight afterwards.
He's going out in that shirt.
Yeah, we'll do the run.
Out of interest, Al, which shoes are you going to be wearing? Not those dirty, horrible ones you've now got,
I haven't got any dirty, horrible ones. They've been washed.
You're joking. Right, so, again, viewers, apologise for this. Al, do you want to bring the viewers up to speed? Because they don't know what we're talking about.
Right, okay. So, if you remember when we ran up Snowdon, I managed to get up and down in a pair of white speed goats. So, I upgraded my long run shoes to a pair of white Hoka Bondi X. And they've been going pretty good in terms of staying white until today. So they were purchased with the intent of testing a little bit of winter sun at the Malaga half marathon. So they would have shone really nice and bright in that low winter sun. Unfortunately, we're not in Malaga. COVID's put pay to that. So we had to take them out for a little shakedown run today. And Storm Bara did its worst overnight. And it was just a few puddles. So
Al, what's that? Sorry, just to go off a little bit of a diversion. What's actually happened with Malaga? Is it not happening because of COVID? Or
no, I think the race is happening. It was just the travel arrangements, and I'm on a course next week, so the risk of getting a late PCR test and not being able to attend the course meant just had to sack it off this time. So it was take one on the chin. Seemed like a good idea in July. Hasn't quite worked out in December. So, but I still got to buy some white shoes for it. So it wasn't.
Well, they're not white anymore.
Can you get a deferral?
We've emailed them. So hopefully winter 2022.
I'm sure they'll understand, won't they? It's that sort of.
Boys, I've got an idea. I've just had an idea. It's not related at all to anything what you've been talking about. Why don't we get people who are watching live on the Facebook? Because I don't know you can do it on YouTube to stick in their pictures if they wore their Christmas jumpers today. Stick that in the comments on Facebook. I can't do it because I'm not wearing one. But yeah, so stick them on the Facebook. And if you're on YouTube, I want to know if you wore one today. So stick that in as well. And also, if you are raising for a different charity, post the links up as well. So we'll try and see if there was anybody else. Because I know a lot of the charities were raising today, weren't they? They were not just Save the Children was doing it, but I know some others were doing it as well. So if you were raising for a certain charity, stick the links in the Facebook as well. And separately, also let us know if you're going to be there next week.
Yeah. Are we all going?
Huh?
We're all there, are we?
Yeah, we're all there. So the long run show is going to be at the Olympic Park, whatever it's called. Live. We could, we're all going to be there. Tobe's going to be there and be, well, that's if he doesn't run out of charge. We're all going to be there. It's going to be an epic. And funnily enough, I had the email come through about what time we got to get there, Tobe. So don't get us there. Me and Si rely on.
I've not checked mine. Perhaps I'm not in.
Yeah, no, we've got one. I think it's a 9:30 start.
Are we all starting at the same time, or is it?
Absolutely no idea. All I saw was 9:30 start, and then I pressed delete.
5K, 10K, 9:30 start.
There we go. So, and actually, I've got to give a shout out to Paul. He's Claire's husband. He's going to be doing 5Ks, first 5K. He's done the Catch the 5K program. Had a chat with him earlier. So well done, mate, for doing your
Catch. It was great to meet Paul. Like the week before last, when we all went to Stevenage Park, we met another couple of people as well. John was there, and a couple of others who, after hearing the podcast about how we were going to go to Stevenage and some of us smashed our PBs, others,
some of us didn't bother, did they, Todd? But
although there was
don't spoil it, Wilco, because the video's coming out.
I did. I haven't actually told you this, but I almost caused a bit of an incident when we went to Stevenage.
Oh, what was the incident? What, COVID related?
Well, you might not remember because you were fully focused on that sub 20. You were smashing it out. But when we were, I was going round the lake and you were coming back the other way. And as typical, as traditional, I gave it a big oi oi, as you do, which is what you do. When you see 40 or you see another 40, you give it a big oi oi when you're running thing. There'll be lots of that next week.
Yeah.
And you gave me a little wave. And we went out that evening and I told people, I said, Chris was well focused. He was right on it. I said, he didn't shout back or anything. I gave a big oi oi and he just put his hand up like this. And Charlie, who comes with us on a Tuesday, who finished about 2 minutes in front of me, she said, was that you? She said, I thought somebody had fallen in the lake. She said, I said to them, is everybody all right? And like the woman next to me said, I hope so. I hope no one's fallen in or something.
Oh, really? So they thought that you called us a bit.
They thought me shouting oi oi at you when you were going the other way was some sort of call for an emergency because somebody was drowning in the lake in Fairlands Valley.
Well, there's a moral to the story there, isn't there, really? Which is, don't worry about it, just get on with it.
Even unintentionally, we're causing carnage at these events.
We do tentacles carnage wherever we go, unfortunately. I mean, that is kind of a underlining rule that we have, is cause as much carnage as you can, because it's fun. And why not? And running's meant to be fun, and being autumn is fun. That's all part of it. And and by the way, boys, have you noticed that I've changed my name on the thing? Does anyone notice that?
No.
Be fair. Do I look slimmer? You're all meant to say yes, by the way.
Are you
sorry if anyone listening on the podcast, you won't have a clue. Be fair.
About 3/4 of a stone.
Yeah, on the
Your
money.
shoulders are looking particularly thin.
I think I'm looking worryingly thin. No, 3/4 of a stone, as Al says, I'm halfway to reaching goal weight, and that's what 3 weeks now. Is it, boys? Is it 3 weeks? It's got to be 3
Something
weeks.
like that, isn't it?
3 weeks. Well, yeah. I was quite worried about falling into like lots of goose. Oh dear.
That was John. That was who we met.
Yeah, John. Yeah. No, 3/4 of a stone I've dropped so far. So I'm halfway into where I need to be. So 3 weeks. The next bit usually takes longer. So I reckon I'm on 8-week target. It's probably about right for.
And how are you feeling with
Well,
this?
apart
weight
from
loss?
today, but I'm feeling all right. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling like, even though I'm like having to not run because of the agreement I had with the doctor, I'm seeing on Monday or Tuesday. And hopefully then I'm, clear to crack on again. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling like there's some speed in the legs, which is quite nice. But yeah, the weight, the change of eating habits doesn't seem to have yet affected me. That said, I did have 1 or 2 days when I was running when I felt, I don't know, not like low blood sugar, but kind of like that. So I eased off and was sensible about it. But in general, I don't feel. I'm not. Yeah, I've gone past that
I think
period now. Craving.
sometimes it's a bit like training plans, isn't it? Like
Yeah.
with these diets, that you have to have a little bit of flexibility, and
Yeah.
you don't have to follow them to the letter of the law, and still get some. You can still, adopt a sensible approach, and then it's not just so much of a sort of leap of faith to undergo
Yeah,
these sort of
absolutely.
things, isn't it?
Yeah, we was in McDonald's on last weekend with the kids because we went to a farm and that sort of stuff. And then on the way back, the girls wanted McDonald's, but usually, you've got a taste for it and you go in there but I wasn't actually that bothered about it. It wasn't something that was rocking my world. So I just ate it, but it wasn't like, it was more, I'd rather, sounds funny, but I'd rather have had my shake. So
Yeah, I
I've
think
now,
you get into that once these habits start to kick in. So if what you've done 3 weeks, well, it's still quite a long way until you're going to be.
oh yeah. Yeah, to where I want to be, I think, as I said, I think it'll be 8 weeks in total because that last stretch of losing the last bit is the hardest. But I've definitely noticed it.
Have you thought about how you're going to maintain it after that sort of initial 2 months?
No, I'm not really that worried because marathon training will start. So I've timed it. So the fact of when the 8 weeks is up, I'm effectively jumping into my plan and that will take care of the rest of it. So I get back down to a base weight in which I would normally start marathon training, or maybe a little bit under. And marathon training, as I said before, I think I've said it on the podcast actually, that I then tend to put on about half a stone. That's just me because I overeat, just basically because I enjoy marathon training too much. But then that usually comes straight off when I stop marathon training. But this time, because of circumstance, it didn't, and actually went the other way. So, it should all tie in. So the fact of the marathon training plan starts, and then, but it depends also because Toby and I, in a podcast exclusive, we are going to be doing, we think, Brighton, because we was going to do Newport Marathon. Now, Newport Marathon, where Russ, big shout out to Russ, who's in Wales. And if you're in Wales, Russ, I know it's a big place, but Russ is going to be starting a 40 runs down there. So watch out for that. But we was going to be doing the Newport Marathon, and that's also been pushed back to October. So our only sort of, because we've got that secret mission coming up, we've got landmarks, secret mission, and then so somewhere in there, we needed a marathon. So it makes a lot of sense to be doing, well, there's no sense really to be running up hills towards a power station, but we're going to be doing the Brighton Marathon. But here's the problem. Can somebody tell me, is it worth the 75 quid? Let us know in the comments.
How much?
Is the Brighton Marathon, firstly, I've got the ump about it. I don't understand why they're charging 75 quid. 75 quid for what? Right? I just think that is an absolute Mickey take. It should not be 75 quid. You shouldn't pay that for any race. I mean, I'd probably pay that if they said you could do London Marathon for 75 quid, no charity. I'd have some of that. But I think Brighton, that is a bit strong. 75 quid, because is it? I mean,
it's technically an ultra now, isn't it? So it's 75 quid to run an ultra.
Yeah, you get more for your money.
Yeah.
Well, technically, it is. Yeah, it is an ultra, I suppose. But yeah, I mean, someone just wrote on Facebook, the crowds are great, and I've been there. I've been a supporter down there. I remember when Fletch stood on my coffee down there, and Sue got us chucked out of the Brighton Marathon for putting all oranges all over the floor. But it's a great thing. But I just don't think 75. I'd love to have somebody on this show for Brighton Marathon events to justify 75 quid.
I mean,
because the
I've
road
said
closures can't be that expensive.
I've said
compared to
before
London.
that I think a lot of these events, there's a sort of like a knock-on thing, and it all drips down, because obviously you have London at the sort of like the pinnacle of the events, and then other events see themselves as big, and then so the Great North Run will charge quite a lot of time and see them as a big thing, and
How
then
much is the Great North
Manchester will
Run?
think, well, Newcastle are doing this, and then it all sort of like moves down. But I mean, £75 does seem.
How
like
much
a
is
lot
the
of money.
Great North Run, boys? I've got no
I
idea.
couldn't
Could
tell
someone let us know? I mean, I'd be interested to know what that is. But 75 quid, I think, yeah, I just think it's an absolute rip-off. Even, oh, thank you, 55 quid for the Great North Run. And that is one of what? Again, is it more prestigious? I would say, to run the Great North Run. It's got probably more history attached to it. I don't know. It really, I mean, I'm saying all this, I'm going to end up doing it, right? But it just annoys me. I just don't understand where they're getting off charging people this sort of money, especially in this day and age. I just think it's an absolute liberty.
It's gone up. Last year was 65 quid. It'd be interesting to almost see over the years how the prices have
What,
have
Brighton,
gone up.
mate? Brighton was 65 last year.
Yeah, last year. So put it up a tenner
For what?
in a year.
For what?
And obviously 65, I'd say, is quite high.
I've
think
got to say
65
as
is
well.
naughty.
I mean, for all the furore that happened after the Brighton Marathon, so then to say, "Oh yeah, come and do it this year. We're going to do it properly, and it will cost you an extra tenner," is a bit of a nerve.
Yeah, I don't know. It just leaves a bad taste in. But what Tobe and I said is that it's probably the only chance we're going to get to do it in some respects because of the way it falls on the calendar. So we're just going to have to. I'm going to have to. I don't know. I'm going to have to go out and sell my body to contribute towards it. So I need another £73 from somewhere. Al, any suggestions? Maybe I know I could do some, because by the way, Al, I've gone part vegan.
Cool.
Right?
Which
No,
part have you gone vegan?
I've gone part-time vegan today. Now, actually, I would say I've gone probably more than that. So I'm helping you out and your fellow vegans today by not having milk now in my coffee.
Excellent. What are you going for? Any kind of oat milky?
No,
or
none.
just none?
I'm going hardcore.
Oh,
I'm so into this vegan stuff. Apart from the meat bit, I'm all in.
Excellent.
So
but there is a problem if you're eating meat.
Is it? Oh, but Brighton needs the extra money for a new measuring tape. Yeah, I'll make you right on that, James. But yeah, so I'm proud of myself because I've not only am I slimmer, I'm now helping the planet by not having milk.
That now means I'm going to have to go back and revisit your Christmas present. Now you've just gone vegan.
Well, I could be swayed off of it, but just don't tell anyone.
Okay,
I'll have it.
No, it's got nothing to do with you.
It sounds edible, so it has.
No. How's your diet going, Speako?
It's going well.
Yeah?
Yeah.
When
He's
you
on a
say
seafood diet. He sees food and he eats it.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I think that's it. Oh, by the way, boys, also, I've been very, very good today. I printed off an email before we came on air. I know.
I'll tell you what, we don't just throw this together.
I know. It's almost like we've even thought about this today. But I know.
Is that why you couldn't get your jumper? You're too busy printing emails off.
I was too busy printing emails. I think it's the COVID inside me. But I did print off. I printed off two because we've had one come in response to last week's show, and keep sending these in, by the way. So we need more. And this was in answer to the. We need a name for our listeners, our people who tune in, people who watch live. So we had. Now, let us know on email. What's the email, Wilco? Oh, actually, I know, hang on, it's on there.
longrunShow@gmail.com. There, I can just
done.
read it off the screen.
We've had FORDY's flock, I said. We've
Language.
had, the rally. We've had the tribe. We've had the long runners. We've had the LRs. I mean, none of these are striking me, by the way. So I think we still need a little bit more work, listeners and viewers. Can you please email us in at somethingshow.com and let us know, because we need to give you a some form of.
We need some sort of collective term.
Yeah, because we love you, and whether you're listening in Peru, Iran, wherever you are in the world, because we are truly global. We want to give you a name. We want to give you a shout out. So, yeah, it's amazing. Al's just put in the chat. Is it Al? Yeah, Al's just put in the chat, by the way, boys.
So I entered the Brighton Marathon in 2020 and deferred it to 2022. I paid 55 quid. So it's gone up.
So do you have to pay the extra 20 quid?
No, I've just rolled it forward. So I've got a bargain. I've had
You've
a
had a touch,
discount.
20 quid more?
Yeah,
for what?
55, 65, 75. So that's how they've gone up.
Right, I tell you what then. Here we go, boys. Right, I tell you what I'm going to do. After we finish this, and I'm going to send an email to Brighton Marathon people, and I'm going to ask them, right, because we've got a contact there. I'm going to ask them, how comes in 2019 it was 55 quid, now it's 75 quid? What's the 20 quid for? And I will give you whatever answer I get. Probably won't get one, but I will tell you what the thing is, because I can't see how they can justify it. 20 quid. I'm not just having a go at them because it's something to say. I just generally don't see how 75 quid is justifiable for an event in Brighton Marathon. I just don't think anything, any running event is worth. I say London Marathon, I probably would pay, or any of the majors. I probably would pay 75 quid.
I see also this week that the Vitality 10K was offered with an early bird price of 39 quid for a 10K.
Yeah, but can't you get that? Don't jog on, by the way. But can't you get that with what's it called? Parkrun. If you're a Parkrun member.
Oh, I don't know. I just
saw
the price.
I got a free entry a couple of years ago.
Yeah. In fairness to them,
a number of slots and bibs available.
Yeah, in fairness to them, I mean, 39 quid is daylight robbery, but when you look at it comparatively, to close London off, you're talking £1 million quid, right? And I'm not justifying it, by the way, but I'm just saying, close London off, £1 million quid, and everything else involved. Where you're closing off Brighton, I don't know what the cost is, but I'm guessing it's probably half, right? In terms of what they shut off and don't shut off, in terms of the overall costing of it. So I don't know. I mean,
what I will say is that you are actually, but you're paying for the experience of running around the centre of London. That is something to,
the
it's
capital.
very difficult because lots of people run for different reasons. You see, like, I wouldn't run for a time. You wouldn't catch me running around an airfield, or doing one of these events around a lake or something like that. I'd be bored and I wouldn't be interested. I like to go for the experience and the actual event. So, but that means that I have to pay extra money to do those sort of things. But then that's something that I'm prepared to do.
Yeah,
so
I'm with you on that. I pay, whatever it is to do the Great North Run, because I love running around Newcastle. Yeah, I get that. And it's the same. I don't know, because we was looking at, and can anyone let us know in the comments or email in at whatever it is show.com and about the Cardiff Half Marathon, because that's on our target list for the new year, is to do the Cardiff Half Marathon. Now, again, I appreciate that we're truly global and we're talking about UK events here. And if there is a 10K in Iran, give us a shout, email in, and we'll send out to do that. But I would pay, like I said, you don't mind paying a little bit more for those bigger city events, but still, it ain't worth, nothing's worth 75 quid. Nothing is. I'm sorry. How much is the Brighton 10K, by the way? Or the Brighton half hour? You've done that. What's
I don't know. Again, because it was old prices that have rolled forward, I could kind of probably go and find it on an email if I was that bothered.
I'll tell you what, isn't it a nightmare trying to keep up with everything that you've entered and what's going on?
I had that today with Petra. I put in the group about, and if you're not part of the Facebook group, people, if you're listening on YouTube or you're listening back at this out on your run or whatever, but I put it in the group today about the vitality. I ain't got a clue if I'm in it or not. And Petra said the same thing. She ain't got a clue if she's deferred. And this is the thing. We've all probably
You just turn up anyway. It doesn't matter whether you're injured or not. You'll just turn up and jump on the start line and race.
Yeah,
You
you
could
Do you really
photocopy
need to have
the
a
starting
bib?
bib like that geezer did at the London Marathon. Just
No,
don't run with the
I've
person.
got
that
too
you
many
put the
morals.
thing. I mean, but it's everything. I mean, I've had this. I was saying to FORDY the other day. I got an email from one of my mates, and he just said the flights have changed, and I'm like, what for? Oh, bloody hell! Yeah, I booked a golf holiday 2 years ago, and I just completely forgot about it. You know, it's so easy that everything just slips off your radar, doesn't it?
Yeah, I haven't got. I'll be honest with you. I haven't got a clue which races I'm definitely doing next year, and only because of all the deferrals. I know I'm in the winter 10K. I know we're trying to get Cardiff sorted, but I don't know when it is. I know I've got landmarks. I know we've got London, and that's probably about it. Oh, Edinburgh. I know I'm in Edinburgh. But Southend as well as the other one. But the others, I ain't got a clue, and I'm sure I've got an A6 10K, a couple of others that have all been deferred, and I just haven't. I mean, I've got a Manchester Marathon bib, I think, as well. I ain't got a clue. I've not got a clue what I'm doing in terms of. I need Toe. Why don't you? No, there's no point getting Toe. I need someone to start organising my running diary. Al,
You
are
need
you
a
busy?
Sabrina.
Give Sabrina a bell,
Oh
mate.
yeah, Sabrina's good at that kind of thing.
What organising? Well, organising all of our sort of running
Yeah, we
diaries.
just give her one big project, couldn't we? Just make sure we're there on race day at the right
What us
time.
for?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Get a spreadsheet going.
yeah.
Spreadsheet.
Love
She does
spreadsheet.
love a spreadsheet. In fairness, she does love a spreadsheet. Yeah, we could get that. She could help organise all of our races and events because we
She could
don't.
book tickets. She could book flights. She could book hotels. She could just do it as a job.
Be our agent, couldn't she?
Yeah,
Agent, like booking
Imagine that.
agent. So we,
Yeah.
Agent
so
Sabrina.
when we
Look
turn
after us.
up in Peru, like people will want to see us and stuff like that, and we could have that all sorted, couldn't we? Or when we go to when our goes to
Hello,
Iran.
Sab. You all right?
She's listening. Hi,
Oh,
Sabrina.
no. So you're in trouble.
Oh, I was about to say, to be honest, she kind of does it anyway.
So you're in big trouble. Have you noticed Tobe still hasn't tidied up behind him, boys, by the way? Sorry if you're listening on the podcast.
I have. It changes. I'm busy.
No, it's still. You need to watch one of those really, really high quality, like podcaster guys who sit there, do all that Twitch and stuff, and they've got these like epic rooms behind them. Because you're in charge of production, you do need to make it better. Boys,
Like a studio.
I tell you what, because this is meant to be a running podcast and we're trying to, add some value to people's lives instead of just listening to us talk absolute nonsense. Al, we got an email this week.
Yeah.
Right. And, I'll type. This is from
LongrunShow@gmail.com, folks. Please send us your emails. Any running related stuff.
Right. This is from Shane Feltwell. Shane, big love.
Hi,
Big
Shane.
shout
Hi,
out.
mate.
Right. So, subject shift change. Hello, guys. Firstly, loving the podcast. Shane.
We love you, mate.
We love you. It's the only way I can listen to you. It's the only way I can listen to you guys is I'm out 7 p.m. on a Friday night, so you can't watch the live stream. To be honest with you, Shane, you're not missing much. So his question is, I am about to take a shift pattern change in the new year. This will affect my running as I will not be running on the days that I will be working. I was wondering what sort of runs workout should I be doing on my 4 days off? So he's doing 4 days on, 4 days off on a 12-hour shift pattern. Let us know in the comments if you're in the same predicament where you do shift work and how that affects your running. That'd be interesting to know. Currently, I'm doing an 8-hour pattern. Blah, blah, blah. Any input would be greatly appreciated. Apologies for the long-winded email. Well done, Shane, because I actually managed to read that out. Usually I get bored after about one sentence, so you've done well. Right, Al, you had a look at this because I sent it to you about 5 minutes before we came on air. Any thoughts?
Yeah, so I've tried to do some maths because I think one of the problems Shane's got is from his email, he was running 5 times a week. And if he can't run on the days when he's doing his 12-hour shifts, he's down to 4 days a week. So that's his first problem. I suppose one of the observations I would make is we tend because it works nice for most of us to think about our training plans on a 7-day basis. There's no reason why you have to. It just works because most of us have a weekend or have a regular pattern. So Shane, I'd think a bit more creatively about what your regular training schedule is, and it could be 8 days, it could be even longer, because again, playing with the numbers, you could end up doing 14 runs over 3 weeks rather than 15, depending on kind of when your pattern works. If you're doing 4 days on, 4 days off, I think one of the problems you've got is that typically on a 4-day, 4 times a week run, you'd be doing a long run, a recovery run, a speed work, and some kind of tempo. You don't want to be doing those all back to back. So you've got to kind of have some rest in those 4 days when you're running. If you are able to run before a night shift, perhaps that's part of the answer, is get your slower, easier runs in before a night shift. But I think it does require a bit of imagination, and it probably does mean that you've got to plan well in advance in terms of looking at how that shift pattern falls, particularly in relation to the weekends and when you can do your longer runs. But I get it's difficult. So, there will be people out there, I hope, that have kind of been there, seen it, done it, and can give us some advice, because it is tricky.
Yeah, stick them in the comments, guys.
7-day week.
Yeah, if you've got any advice for Shane, email us in at whateverit.com. But I think, I agree with you. Get creative on your on your sort of schedule.
And he's going to have runs that are key to his. Say for argument's sake, if he's doing 4 on, 4 off, if he's doing an 8-day cycle, he's going to have key runs like his long run and things like that. So he's going to have to build his plan around that and then try and nick a few miles where he can, isn't he?
Yeah, I don't think he mentions what he's training for, does he, Chris? I'm just having a look at the email.
No, because that would me reading the whole thing.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, and obviously I get bored after hello guys.
So
no, I didn't read.
Come back to us, let us know what you're training for, and we can perhaps have a look at it. But I would say it's probably over a longer period, maybe 3 or 4 weeks, to kind of then factor in enough long runs, enough speed work, and getting recovery in the period.
I think. Do you think he'd want to have a longer actual? We talk about say for argument's sake, he's doing a marathon, and we often talk about the basis of being a 16-week plan. Would you think that starting earlier, perhaps doing 18 or 20 weeks or something like that to spread the load a little bit, do you think that might help in this instance?
I think so, because it sounds like if he can't run on those 4 days when he's working, then he's kind of losing some of the progression because he's having 4 days off. So it could be that a longer plan is part of the answer. And of course, overall, he's got the total mileage, because it is about time on feet, particularly if it's he's targeting that marathon.
And also, we don't know what sort of work he's doing on those 4 days. Is it a physical work? Is it a physical job? Is it
He could be a Zumba teacher. Job? He could be a Zumba teacher for all we know. We don't know that. He could be working at what's it called up in the town? Was it Magic Mike's or whatever it's called? It could be. We don't know what he's doing. Could be a copper. Could be on his feet all day. Who knows? Yeah. Shane, email us back. Let us know what you're training for and whether you're a Zumba teacher. That'd be very
also, Shane, during the as you go along, please keep us informed about how it's going and what you're learning from the experience of training in this sort of like a different cycle and things like that. Because I'm sure that people would love to hear from your experience and be able to sort their own pattern out and maybe even offer advice as well. So we'd definitely be interested in hearing how you get on, mate.
Yes,
so please keep us in the loop.
Penny's just put on the chat, boys, the Edinburgh Marathon. Now, I don't know much about geography other than where Peru, Iran, and all our global listeners are coming from. But Edinburgh is in Scotland, as far as I'm aware. Now, I know we're big in Scotland, massive, one of the top-rated running podcasts in Scotland. Edinburgh, if I'm right, is the capital. Is that correct, of Scotland?
Very much so.
Right, so they are charging 64 quid. So to close bits of Edinburgh off, they're charging 64 quid. So I'll go back to my point. Our Brighton Marathon taking and I didn't say it, even though we've got expletive things on the podcast, but it begins with a P and ends in an S. So, yeah, we want to know, are they taking the proverbial, the guys at Brighton Marathon asking for 75 big ones?
Got to remember with Edinburgh, though, you've got to add your bus fare in
Oh yeah, that's true, right? No, actually, you know what? Edinburgh. Also, you're not getting away with it today either. This is COVID talking now. You're taking the proverbial piss as well, because if you're doing the Edinburgh Marathon, they want you to get a bus back, right? Which is a 40-minute ride back from the finish, okay? Because Edinburgh marathon finishes out of town, right? They want to charge you tenner to get on that, and you've got to book a ticket, and then apparently they only run every 20 minutes or something. So you're going to finish a marathon, you then got to wait for the bus. They're going to charge you for it to get you back into town.
You've also got to walk 25 minutes to get it.
I mean, what's that all about?
But Chris, we've got the answer. I've got an idea on that one. Just do what we did on Jingle Jog and run back to the station.
I'm tempted.
Yeah, after we've done the jingle,
It's only 26 miles away.
Just run it back. It's easy.
Well, it's not actually that far, is it? Because you go out, because you go through Musselburgh, which is about, I think it's, I don't know, 15 miles or something like that, and then you turn around and come back again and finish at the racecourse. So you wouldn't actually have to run 26 miles. It'd only be about
find out what it is. I'd be very interested. Can anyone who's done the Edinburgh Marathon email in and tell us what it's like at the end? Is it as much of a ache as it sounds like it is? But it's 64 quid to do it, but they want you to cough up a tenner to then get on a bus. I mean, I'd
also be interested to hear if there's anybody out there who would like to run a marathon but thinks it's too expensive, and that's what's putting them off.
Yeah, I agree. But to be fair to people like Active Training World here in the UK, and seriously for a second, wherever you are in the world, let us know, you know, what your sort of marathons are costing you and half marathons are costing you. You know, let us know. Say, email us in, whatever. But there are some local companies, Active Training World, the Dorney Lakes, you know, marathons, as a guess, is probably about 30 or quid. So there are some more sort of, let's say, low-key local marathons you can do. I appreciate that they're harder, I think, because you don't have the crowds, you don't have that wave of emotion and you know, adrenaline behind you from the crowds and everything that's going on around let's call it a big event. But if you want to complete the distance, that could be a cheaper and a more affordable way of doing it. But yeah, it's 64 quid on the scheme of things is still strong, I think, but because it's Edinburgh and it's the capital, you can kind of suck it up. But Tobe does make a good point. They're taking a mickey, asking you to then cough up 10 quid to get a bus that you basically have to get back anyway. Why not make it more affordable? Why not put it into the price? You know, you've got all those people running there. They know what the cost is already. They're just rinsing us. Absolute, but we're going to pay it. So I don't even know. I'm preaching, you know, I'm just saying it for nothing, really, am I? As usual. It's not getting anywhere. Just upsetting people and winding myself up. Yeah, that's about it, really, isn't it? But we need to know. What's this? I doubt they'll be charged for road closures for an event like that. They'll claim charity is a huge part of the event and the council won't charge them. Well, I'm not sure, John. I don't know the ins and outs, but usually, I know down here in London, they still have to charge. They still have to pay for the road closures and stuff. It's quite a big thing. How much that? And I say I've heard prices of over £1 million for London. So even though it's charity, I know you can get away with it to a degree. I know when we've got licenses to close roads off over here, but it has to be what they call a party or something along like a social small event before they start charging you big money. So yeah, we'll have to.
We think about the road closure, but because you see it as you run past sort of all the marshals and everything, that actually every side junction of a main road it's closed, then has marshals. So you think about all the costs involved in that. It does soon add up.
No, it does add up, yeah. But it doesn't add up to 64 quid per runner. You know, 20,000 runners, you do the math, people.
And a tenner for a bus.
Yeah, and then a bus, which is not electric, so they're polluting the world as well. So shame on you. Shame on you.
You have to stop halfway back and recharge.
I'm gonna get an electric Audi back from Edinburgh. Does anybody have one? What?
Why?
It won't get there, though, will it? Yeah, it won't get there, will it, Tobe? Let's be honest. Oh, JBS is back. He's been putting up his Christmas decks. We'll let you off, JBS, friend of the show.
Too early.
Well, it's not too early, Tobe.
Really?
Tobe, have you got your Christmas decks up?
What?
No, but he has got his Christmas jumper on.
No, but Tobe, have you got because you've got your family coming around on Christmas Day. They're going to turn up at your gaff, and they're going to be a little bit they're going to be disappointed. Firstly, when you serve up amazing fish and chip shop on the day,
without tomato.
They're also going to be disappointed that you ain't got any, like, not even a tree up.
It's like bring your own, though, isn't it?
What, bring your own tree?
Well, bring your own deckies.
Yeah.
He's murdering.
I
Exactly.
can't afford to run the lights and charge the car, right?
Good point, so yeah.
Yeah, actually,
Got to make choices.
we should be glad we can see Tobe, because I thought he might have to switch the lights on so he can charge the car up. It is bad. It is. Tobe, in all seriousness, how are you finding your electric car? Let the viewers know.
It's great. It's nice and calming.
He turned up the other day, right?
Brilliant.
And it made a really weird noise. It's like it's really quiet, and it's like this
Well, like
whirling
milk
noise.
float.
Yeah, it's
like
really
an electric
weird.
motor almost, strangely.
It's like it's got an
Is this when
electric
he took
motor.
out the snowman?
No, he didn't take the snow. He nearly did though, didn't he? We got a snowman on my drive. The kids went. I got it right in the neck about not putting this snowman thing up on my drive, right? And I put it up, I get the right what's it when I do it, but the kids love it, right? He bowled up the other day because he hasn't got a reversing camera on that soppy expensive motor of his. He nearly parked it in my front room. Like it literally, you walked out of my door and you hit the back of a brand new Audi. It's terrible. Absolute. You should be ashamed of yourselves.
There's plenty of room there.
There's not plenty of room. Anyway, we're totally off.
Yeah, James
about
is mentioning 50 quid for Milton Keynes.
How
Marathon.
much?
50 quid for Milton Keynes.
Would I
Billy.
pay?
I
Would you
think
pay
we're getting
50
to the
quid for Milton
stage,
Keynes?
gents, where this is just the price that everybody's going to charge, isn't it? You're not going to be able to get anywhere cheap.
Yeah, 50 quid. Okay, I can live with that. If Brighton was 50 quid, I can live with that. In fairness, because what's the difference between Brighton and Milton Keynes? In all seriousness, what is the difference?
I think it's more roundabouts in Milton Keynes.
And it's more hills in Brighton. I know that. Are we paying more for the hills? Is that what we pay for? It's like a tenner a hill. Is that how it works? I don't know. I mean, but yeah, I don't know the difference between Brighton and Milton Keynes. Maybe I don't know. I'd like to do the Milton Keynes Marathon. I know they do quite a big running event in general, isn't it? Oh, actually, talking about that sort of stuff. Al, did you sign up for that Run Fest thing?
What, Runfest Run?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm there.
Tell us all about that, mate.
Well, Runfest Run is the
It's not an advert, by the way. We're not paid
festival
by
of
them.
running that are the Chris Evans, one of my heroes, Steve Cram, and a few of his mates.
What a life
put
you
on.
lead.
Yeah, I know.
It's Al.
great
It's
guy.
like Al. All his heroes are there. Like all the run testers are there, getting paid to be there. All these people who do like these podcasts, so they're able to sell other things and all this sort of stuff. All Al's heroes are all sucked into one place, and,
And we all go and camp in a field in somewhere out just past the M4 at Reading this year. But it's a weekend of running, so I think you start with a twilight jog, 5k, 10k on the Saturday morning, another 2k Saturday afternoon, half marathon Sunday morning, and then it all finishes off with a family fun. So you get one of those weekends where you get about a dozen medals.
No, be fair, it does look really good. I'm tongue in cheek as always. It actually does look really good. And Chris Evans, absolute fair play to him. They do a cracking job by the looks of things. And Steve Cram, Paula Radcliffe, and they get all the families and the kids involved. So mad love. I'm being serious for a second. Mad love to all those people who do get involved, because it does look like a good event. So fair play to them on that one.
When's that out?
I think it's 20th to the 22nd of May next year. So
is that the week before Edinburgh?
That's the week before we go to Edinburgh, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm not doing Edinburgh, so I'll be in a tent somewhere just off the M4 near Reading.
And the good thing is for Al, he doesn't have to pay for food because he just eats the grass. So it's cost effective for him. So that's good news.
Well, when these marathons are this price, you've got to make savings somewhere.
That is.
So how much is so is that a weekend's camping? How much sort of outlay are we talking for that there now? Is it, or is that classified information? Have you not declared it?
No, I think for the whole weekend, this is like 3 nights camping. It's about 300 quid.
Ain't bad.
It depends on how you view it. Then I get a chance to stalk Chris Evans and Steve Cram and Paula Radcliffe.
I've met Steve Cram. He's
Paul
a very
Jackson
nice man.
And someone else. Oh, Mrs. Evans. Yeah, Natasha. So that's got to be worth 300 quid in my book. So
how does that compare to Race to the Stones?
I think when we looked at Race to the Stones, that was over a couple of hundred quid, and that was 1 night's camping. So I seem to have a figure of about 240 quid in my head for Race to the Stones when we looked at it. But
a lot of treats though. A lot of food.
You do get free food with that.
You do
but Al gets free food with his. I say he eats the grass
but
and the
we get,
leaves.
like proper food. Not that I just look at what food's available and
Yeah, there is a theme there,
Things.
Joe.
put it out there.
There is. So, well, I don't know.
You know, back to this is more like it. Blackpool half. There you go. 35 quid.
Yeah,
JBS.
that's the right price. I think for a half marathon,
Leeds.
35 quid's the right price, isn't it?
Leeds 36.
Yeah, that's
Maybe
the
we
right
need to
money,
go up
boys.
north.
I remember when the big half used to be that. It's not now. And you could even get the big half for a tenner, couldn't you, if you lived in one of the boroughs?
I did. I got it at half price because I lived in Greenwich.
Yeah,
And
but
so
now
being one of the boroughs.
What's that, about 45 quid now, isn't it?
I don't know. I only
Yeah,
did
it's
it
got to be.
once.
It's got to be. But it ain't £75.
75 of your earth pounds to run around Brighton.
It's a bit strong, isn't it? It's a bit. You know what, boys? Have you realised it's 56 minutes and we've absolutely.
This is by far our greatest achievement in the 24, 25 podcasts that we've done. Spinning this out for 56 minutes.
I think we need to apologise to the listeners on this one because I'm a bit COVID up, right? We done no planning for this at all. It's all even worse than normal, right? This was literally put together 5 minutes beforehand. I think again we owe everybody an apology for
we
this.
We do promise that if you'll stick with us in 2022, it might get better.
Is it really though? Is it? Are you that confident?
Well, if we all put enough effort in, Christmas jumpers and
I think I've done well. I've got like a bit of branding going on, but obviously I didn't get my own message about wearing the Christmas jumpers.
He didn't.
But I've done a wicked outro.
You do almost blend in with your background, actually.
Pardon?
You got grey background, grey hat, grey t-shirt. It's almost like you're blending in.
Yeah, it is a bit.
His face is a bit grey as well, isn't it? After his jab, so it's kind
of for the new year. Yeah, but I look slimmer because I didn't want to wear black because I'd look too slim. Do you know what I mean? Because black makes you look really slim on camera. So if I wore black, maybe for the New Year's one that we're now going to pre-record. So viewers, there you go, and podcasters, because you won't be able to watch this because this is an audio-based format. But I'm going to wear black clothing in the like Johnny Cash. Yeah, hello, Ronnie, I'm Johnny Cash. I'm going to wear black in the New Year's Eve special. So check that out and see how slim I look in that one when that comes out on New Year's Eve. That's if I survive, because my COVID might take over with like my COVID jab thing. Yeah, I'll be honest with you, my arm is hurting.
My arm hurt this morning. You wait till this morning.
Am I going to be all right at park run tomorrow? Am I going to be able to survive park run tomorrow, do you think, Wilco?
I think you'll probably survive, yeah.
I think you should cycle there on your bike.
No, I did that. He made me cycle 20 miles after my last COVID jab and he killed me. Absolutely. Watch the video. It's on YouTube. He destroyed me with that. And talking to YouTube, for all you YouTube viewers out there, thanks very much for sticking around listening to this nonsense for this long. I'm really happy with myself, boys. All the Christmas content is all loaded up and ready to come. There's some good stuff. We've got the running awards coming out. Unbiased, unpaid for hour. I'm not going to mention names of similar people that have done awards at the moment that are backed by companies and stuff like that. But I've done my own independent running awards from the 40 Runs running community. So we know they're independent. We've got a rewind of 2021. We've got some short videos coming out. They've got loads of stuff lined up over the whole Christmas. We've got daily content coming over Christmas. So that's all locked in and ready to go. So I'm well pleased with myself, because that means I can have a little bit more downtime over Christmas. That said,
we've got one podcast in the bag, and then we're going to do another one in a minute.
Yeah, and then basically we can kick back and if I drunk margaritas, I'd be drinking margaritas, but I don't, because I'm now part-time vegan.
So and then all we've got to think about then is getting around the Olympic Park next Saturday.
Well, my priority is to get around park run tomorrow without dying. What are you running tomorrow?
Me, I don't know yet, because I went to Panzanger Park Run and it was very muddy last week. I think I might sack that off tomorrow. So I don't know. I might just get out and get down the river, because I ain't been down there for ages. And the problem is, because with work and stuff, I've been doing quite a lot of running at night, and I ain't been out in daylight much. So it'd be quite nice to get up and go and do sort of 10K.
It's a bit mucky down there, bruv. I will give you a heads up. It is
Well,
a bit.
if I stay the sort of Hertford side of Ware and then come back again, it's going to be all right. I'll probably do. I might do that. I'll see how we go.
What about you, Al?
Chelmsford Park Run. One of my satellite heroes, Jan, will be topping out at 50 park runs tomorrow.
Big shout out, Jan.
Oh, well done,
Jan Smith. We're going to be there for you. So make sure you got the vegan brownies. They were lovely last time.
How long does it take me to get to Chelmsford, Al?
Half hour probably. A414 takes you all the way.
Yeah.
Nah, he drives fast.
It's just the other side of Arlo, isn't it?
If I'm not dead in the morning, I might consider it.
Okay. We'll reserve a spot at the start line. Central Park. So
where'd you park?
There's not a lot of parking.
We should do this after the podcast is recorded, by the way.
Yeah. I park in Decathlon because it's free. 2 hours.
Sorry, listeners. We're just sorting out what we're doing tomorrow. Sorry about that. And Tobe, what you're working, aren't you, bro?
I'm working tomorrow. Yeah, no running for me.
No running for Speedgo. He's just going to eat, isn't he?
Tidying up his production office.
Right, I think we better wrap it up. But I say again, massive apologies for everybody. We will try and get better. Next week we're live again, aren't we, Wilco?
Yeah, the last live one this week. So, if you haven't managed to watch the whole of this debacle on YouTube or Facebook, then
well done.
We are available on as a podcast on Spotify, Amazon, and Apple, and all your usual places that you get your podcast. So please download us, take us with us on your long run, and then maybe the second time around it won't seem as bad. But
it doesn't.
Maybe it doesn't get better. We'll just have to see. So thank you very much for bearing with us in this time of need that, we couldn't say much really. We didn't plan much, but we got through it. We broke an hour, so we got to have a little bit of contentment. Thanks ever so much for joining us. And Chris has got a new outro, so let's play.
Yeah, watch out for the outro. Tobe, run the new outro. Carolyn, get ready to watch. Later, people.